Gurva Verma is going to come on stage, come up and introduce herself. He's from Yoshi Markets, Head of Products and Marketing Service, a crypto expert, blockchain expert, banking and finance. Lovely to meet you. Big clap for him, everyone.
Is this slide? Hello, everyone. So exciting venue and an exciting topic. So today we'll be discussing about Web3, how Web3 has evolved. We'll be demystifying some of the things around Web3. So we represent Yoshi Markets, which is a multilateral trading facility and a custodian based out of Abu Dhabi Global Market. So we don't want to basically play a role like other traditional virtual asset exchanges. Instead of that, what we aim to do is to basically be part of the entire ecosystem, work with businesses in the region to power them for acceptance of crypto payments, security tokenization, and such kind of business models that are coming up right now. So we pride ourselves as Yoshi Markets with our experience and with the knowledge that we have gained over a period of time. So as a team, so we have over 150 years of experience combined in setting up and operating various exchanges. But at the same time, we also come with a background of banking and how to build all of these things together as an ecosystem. So to start with, there are a lot of concepts around, lot of literature, a lot of text. You must have heard a lot of things about Web3. So what is it? We want to give a perspective of Yoshi Markets and about Web3 and how it has evolved and how the ecosystem for Web3 is. So in our perspective, we have broken down the explanation of Web3 into 5 perspectives. So what are these perspectives? Power and controls. So it basically brings about a transformation from the previous versions of the web in terms of power and control, in terms of the environment and experience that it brings to the table. Third thing is the intelligence and learning. Then we talk about the trust and permissions that are there, and also the role of money that is played in the entire ecosystem. When we talk about power and control, initially, or in the previous versions of web, it was the central authorities that were basically maintaining the power. They were controlling how the information is disseminated. But in this new paradigm, in the new transformational way, as is being evolved right now, we will see that the power will be in basically with you and me, with the users. They control how the information, they control the data, how the information is disseminated, how the information is controlled. Then we talk about the experience. So again, this is going to be built around various technologies which will basically enhance the experience. There will be 3D environments that are there. Not only people will be connected, but also the objects that will be connected to each other, right? Then we talk about intelligence and learning. So this is where you must have heard a buzzword about semantic nature of the web. So this is an explanation why this web is intelligent. So there will be technologies, AI and other kind of technologies that will make the web more intelligent because it's built around certain application called distributed applications. So that's called semantic nature of the web. And then we talk about trust and permission. So the trust and permissions in the previous versions of the web 1 and 2 were established and controlled by central authorities. But now the system and the code takes control of that by use of certain technologies such as smart contracts enabled by blockchain and other technologies. And of course, the most transformational aspect of web, or evolutionary or transformational aspect of Web3 is basically the role of money. So we are not saying over here that the fiat money will be, it'll be offset and there'll be a new, form of money that'll come. There will be a coexistence, but the role that money plays will be extremely transformational, as we see. So what are the enabling building blocks that are enabling all of this together? And of course, the headline is extremely important over here. All these things used to be understood as, in an isolation. So there was blockchain technology, there's, metaverse and all. So what Web3 does is it brings all of these things together and forms an ecosystem to basically leverage and to achieve certain transformational perspectives as we see over here. So blockchain technology, decentralized networks, and staking, these kind of things enable power and control in the hands of users. environment and experience is achieved by, metaverse, again, it's a combination of, hardware and, software technologies that are being built right now, right? They are distributed applications, Internet of Things. Intelligence and learning through artificial intelligence and machine learning. Trust and permission, again, enabled by blockchain technology, decentralized networks. And of course, role of money, which is the most important one, through the native protocol tokens, security tokens, NFTs. So essentially, these are the building blocks and the enabling technologies that form Web3. So how have we come this far? So this is a very interesting infographic that will tell you how we have evolved so far and where are we right now. So as we see over here, Web 1 is where users created a content and they were consumers from a central. I don't know how this works. Okay. Web 2, it was more about building communities where users contributed as well as they consumed. So it was basically building communities as we see right now. And it is basically what we are seeing every day right now. Web 3, which is under evolution. Again, if I take Prajakta's words, Web 3 is right now beyond imagination. Because we are still imagining things right now. We are still evolving things right now. So basically, it is in the evolution right now. A lot of things are coming up. And as we see over here, so there are objects connected to people, objects connected to objects. There are also, various, websites and various applications which are connected to the users. And again, it's powered by a lot of intelligence through AI and other aspects. So I'll just take a pause over here for a few seconds so that we think about it. So a logical question will be, will Web 2 discontinue once Web 3 gains popularity and adoption? Again, so so we get the answer over here. So there was Web 1 which paved the way for Web 2. But as we see, again, this is our perspective, that Web 2 technologies will continue, and there'll be Web 3 that will basically power those models and which will make it more richer and more enabled in the hands of the users. So this is basically the perspective where we are seeing a coexistence in the next 4 to 5 years. So we'll start to see a lot of traction. So again, these are some of the building blocks that basically form part of the Web3 ecosystem, and some of the advancements and developments that are happening in this space. So again, I won't bore you by going through each and every point over here, just to take some highlights from here. So one thing that we are seeing is that there's an immense adoption which is happening across. There's a lot of investments going in most of these building blocks. For example, when we take metaverse, so a lot of spending is going in the VR and AR technologies as we speak right now, which will become a $72.8 billion industry in the next 2 years. There are a lot of organizations that are building metaverses right now. So Microsoft is building something which is basically, so we knew AR, we knew VR. They're also building something which is basically MR, which is a mixed reality, but leverages the strength of both AR as well as VR. Again, DeFi, which is a completely transformational aspect, which is decentralized finance. So again, the total value being locked in DeFi protocols is again increasing, and there's a lot of speculation around that there's going to be a lot of uptake over here in this space. NFTs, which is right now upcoming as one of the biggest, as one of the fastest growing asset classes, as we see, and there's a lot of things coming. A lot of traction coming in this space as well. So all of these come together, and they basically give us a picture that we are heading in a direction which is right now evolving, and we are going to see a lot of developments in the next 4 to 5 years. So what are the components of Web3 ecosystem? So on one hand, we have distributed applications. So the developers for dApps or distributed applications form one of the most important component of the Web3 ecosystem. These will be special kind of applications that will be powered by AI. It'll look at the users' preferences. It'll be powered by crypto payments. There'll be underlying native tokens that will enable the transactions on these applications. One of the underestimated roles or role players in the ecosystem is the virtual asset exchanges and marketplaces. So again, there's an entire element of on-ramp and off-ramp, and we'll discuss more about it in the upcoming slides. So virtual asset exchanges, of course, we are talking about the regulated ones, will play a very, very important role in this ecosystem. Blockchain protocols, we've heard and read a lot about blockchain protocols that will be there, because these will be the underlying elements and the backbone of this ecosystem. The metaverses, and of course the NFT creators. So these will be powered by technologies, by virtual assets, by artificial intelligence, by blockchain technology. There are some use cases which are over there, and of course the possibilities are endless. But the evolving use cases of Web3, we have decentralized autonomous organizations, which are self-governing, which are governed. It's an entire transformational way of how organizations are run and governed. Decentralized finance, we've discussed a lot about it. A lot of people are involved in this. We have a lot of startups coming in this space. Web3 e-commerce. So we've been attending these events in the last 1 or 2 weeks. We've also had a lot of companies that are developing the e-commerce platforms, which are Web3 enabled. Yeah. Blockchain gaming, which is an upcoming industry in itself. Metaverse. Interesting thing is metaverse is a use case as well as an enabling technology, as we see. And of course, create an economy. We met a lot of, 4 major creators, and we heard from them itself, how this area is evolving and their perspective on Web3. So now we'll discuss what is the role of a virtual asset exchange in the Web3 ecosystem. So the three roles that a virtual asset exchange plays in this ecosystem is A, maintaining a custody of virtual assets. Then we have that a virtual asset exchange can serve as a payment enabler across various business models that are evolving right now. And finally, act as a primary and secondary market for various tokens that are issued. So just to go just one level more into, just to understand these things. So again, Web3, as we spoke, is built around virtual assets as transactional currencies. Therefore, custody is extremely important over here. But users have an option, basically, to store or maintain custody of the virtual assets, or basically native tokens, in their private wallets or with decentralized exchanges. But there's a safer way to do that. And a safer way to do that is by maintaining a custody with a regulated virtual asset exchange. So again, Yoshi is a regulated virtual asset exchange regulated by ADGM. So we play that role and we try to bridge that gap in this entire ecosystem. And finally, one of the most important element over here is that a regulated virtual asset custodian, such as ours, also has all the virtual assets that are in the custody insured. So we basically maintain an insurance of that. Of course, we are hearing about a lot of hacks and a lot of malpractices that are happening in the back end. So that will never stop. But we have to be covered from that perspective. So we also have insurance as a second layer of kind of a defense or kind of a mitigation mechanism. So what does serving as a payment enabler in this entire ecosystem mean? Now, multiple business models are coming up where payments have to be accepted. And one thing which we need to be very clear is that fiats are there to stay. By talking about Web3, it does not mean that a dollar or normal currencies are going to be basically offset and will be overruled by digital assets. There will be a coexistence. Therefore, there will always be an on-ramp and off-ramp of virtual assets. What that means is that basically to transact on a distributed application, you will need to purchase basically those virtual assets or cryptocurrencies or any underlying assets which are there, right? So basically you need to purchase that. It's called on-ramp. You may also need to basically sell. So if you are investing or anything, you need to sell that into basically the fiat currencies. This is off-ramp. So this entire thing can be enabled through virtual asset exchange. And of course, needless to say, again, because that is the custody of those virtual assets is an essential element over there. So again, so that is where the power of a regulated virtual asset exchange comes into play. And finally, to act as a primary and secondary market for tokens. So we heard about equities being tokenized. We also heard about real estate being tokenized so that common people can invest, can basically own a chunk of a property. So this is an entire transformational way in which assets are owned by people. So this is basically enabled by blockchain technologies and of course native tokens that are there, and of course the blockchain protocols that are there right now. So the role that a virtual asset exchange can play in this kind of a business model is basically to act as a primary and secondary market for the tokens that are issued. So overall, this gives the overall perspective of what is Web3, where do each ecosystem player fall, what is the role of each ecosystem player, and essentially what a virtual asset exchange and a custodian such as Yoshi plays. So we just launched our platform around 3 to 4 weeks back. We have started to onboard our customers. Right now, we'll be launching the trading in the next 3 to 4 weeks again. So again, we'll be looking forward, to build a portfolio. We'll be working with businesses to come up with, strategic partnerships. So that is basically the overall, essentially the role that we want to play in this market. Thank you.